on the iconic Brooklyn Bridge. Once in a lifetime experience for sure. And a shout out to whoever dressed as Tony the Tiger.
What am I doing awake at this hour? What am I doing out in the cold? We're running a half marathon! Wish me luck.
Hey there friends, Errol Barnett here, sharing another video of what I'm experiencing in real time. I just ran a half marathon here in New York and I had some surprising results, and I don't think it's what you expect. Here I want to share with you what it's like to run a half marathon in New York, how to pace yourself, how to properly train, and I'll answer the question, is it really even worth your time and money? First up, the starting line.
It's on your board!
Let's go, Prospect Park. The United Airlines NYC Half Marathon starts in Prospect Park, crosses through Brooklyn, over the Brooklyn Bridge, then up FDR Drive, over to Times Square, and it ends in Central Park. And right off the bat, look at this. It's turning out to be a really foggy day. Temps are in the 50s, so it felt like a quiet, comfortable, and calm start. Now at this point, we're coming up on Grand Army Plaza.
Currently 7 minutes 24 seconds. Pace high 7:10.
Stay with these guys.
On pace. Currently 7 minutes 22 seconds.
We then get to downtown Brooklyn.
On pace. Currently 7 minutes 23 seconds.
And a shout out to whoever dressed as Tony the Tiger, okay? This is one of those reminders when you need it to not take yourself too seriously and just enjoy yourself and the experience. Let's talk pace strategy. In my very first half marathon, I didn't train at all. I was just wondering, could I run 13.1 miles? And I ended up getting a 7:30 pace, but I went too fast at the beginning and I struggled and really felt pain towards the end. The following year, I trained for the half marathon and had a 7:28 pace and felt much more comfortable. Both of these races were in Brooklyn, by the way. This is my home, and so even to start this half marathon here is really special to me. More recently, I went for a full marathon and I knew that I had to stick with the pace runners. But if you check out a recent video of mine about hitting the wall, you'll see why that didn't work out for me. I was still thrilled with my overall time of 3 hours, 33 minutes, 25 seconds, but my pace was just over 8 minutes. But I have this goal to run a marathon again and trim down my time. Knowing now that the biggest mistake you can make is running too fast at the beginning and hurting yourself toward the end. So my strategy here was to run with the slightly slower pace runners of 7:38 and then speed up towards the end if I had enough energy and juice left in the tank. By the way, at this stage, the elite runners are already halfway finished. The women were running splits of 5:11 up FDR Drive, which is just amazing. But take a look at this. It was by far my favorite moment. The iconic Brooklyn Bridge, shrouded in fog, giving it this mysterious and mystical look. And this is the first time in this race's history that the course crossed the Brooklyn Bridge. It usually crosses the Manhattan Bridge, but because of some construction, they had to change course. Now consider that fog also dampens sound.
Pace low 8:35.
So it was strange to be on the Brooklyn Bridge and hearing the pitter-patter of feet and everyone breathing. This was really a once-in-a-lifetime experience for sure. Listen.
On pace. Currently 7 minutes 29 seconds.
Now we're under the Brooklyn Bridge and on to the FDR highway. What a weird view.
Now you could actually run up to the edge of FDR and look over into the East River. How about this for race views?
On pace. Currently 7 minutes 38 seconds.
Now here the terrain flattens out and I'm still feeling pretty good. My Garmin watch is telling me to slow down, in fact, which I'm listening to since I'm just about halfway at this point, but I am getting tired. There are fewer spectators cheering and there's even oncoming traffic.
Definitely on the highway.
And this is where psychology came into play. I had to remind myself, Errol, you chose to do this. You eagerly signed up. You received your bib with a big smile on your face. You wanted to run this race. Get going. And another shout out to whoever was DJing at the end of FDR Drive. You kept us going, man.
On pace. Pace high 7:15.
And once we cross into Midtown, it's time to speed up. Just listen to the crowds here, all that Manhattan energy. And once we crossed into Times Square, you see all the bright billboards.
Currently 7 minutes 17 seconds.
But this was also a major highlight, and we crossed in front of our Times Square building and office. I've got some behind the scenes videos of what it's like to work there. You can check that out. But today's all about the half marathon, so let's keep going. And they even had a kids race kick off at about the same time I crossed.
I'm getting smoked by some kids.
So it's the final third of the race. I can speed up as much as I can if I'm able to, and pace training helped me get a sense for what certain paces feel like in the body.
Pace high 6:50. Previous mile in 7 minutes 4 seconds.
Now, unlike my full marathon where everybody was just passing me for the last 5 miles, I felt good here towards the end, and I was actually passing other people. So in the home stretch, I pull off my hat, I get to the finish line, raise my hands, and breathe a sigh of relief.
Wow. Wow. I can breathe, I can stand up on my own, and I completed the half marathon. My average heart rate was something like 179. So I pushed it, I was trying. My legs are okay. I've given us this Mylar sheet, and of course, pretzels and Gatorade to stay hydrated so we don't fall over. Oh, that felt so good though. Training pays off. I can feel the steam coming off my head. I don't know if you can see it. Feels good actually.
And after snapping this picture with the medal, I checked my time, and here it is. In 2023, I ran my first half marathon in 1:38:22, which is a 7:30 split. The next year, same race, 1:37:42, a 7:28 split. And a few months ago, halfway through the full marathon, that timed out to 1:38:26. And on this day in 2025, my time was 1:38:47. A 7:33 split. So I was slower. In fact, it was the slowest half marathon distance I've run ever. And I know these are unofficial times, and it's a decent time. I'm not unhappy with it. But to be real with you, I was not expecting it to be that slow. So after all of that, do I really think it's worth your time and energy? Absolutely. And here's why. During my first 2 half marathon attempts, I really struggled to breathe towards the end. In fact, it took me like 20-30 minutes to pull myself together and take these pictures. During my full marathon, my pace slowed dramatically towards the end. It went from 7:30 to 8 minutes, and my last 5 miles physically hurt. My final mile was about 10 minutes long. It made me question everything. But take a look at the splits from this race. Approximately 7:30 all the way through with no strains and no pains, which means I've finally learned after all this time how to properly pace myself. Now, would I have preferred for my times to have been faster? Absolutely. But to be even more transparent with you, I did not train with enough weekly mileage to justify that kind of improvement. Life caught up with me. I do a daily morning news show for the CBS News streaming platform. I have a Wake Up With Me video you can check out if you're interested. And like the rest of you, the rest of life catches up with me. And it's tough to train during the winter, especially if it's snowing outside. All those things have really encouraged me to stay inside and rest. or treadmill train, which I really struggle with and I cannot get the same distance inside than I would outside. Another reason why I think it's absolutely worth it, even though my times were slower, is my why. It's all about honoring my family's heritage and keeping fit, staying active. And while my training could have been better, I did enjoy the days I got out to run. And while my timing during this half marathon should have been better, Brooklyn Bridge was gorgeous. Times Square, that really is a once in a lifetime moment. And now I have those memories and these skills to take with me forever. So I encourage you to start or continue your running journey. And feel free to share with me what you're learning about yourself and running in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, stick around. You'll like this clip coming up next.